Hello, my name is Corella Fickler McLean at Welcome, WYLCONE, welcome.com. And I want to thank you for coming back to look at my videos, to support me and support what I'm trying to do, trying to make English, even the most basic aspect of the language, accessible to everyone. So now we're going to continue looking at vowels and the sound of vowels. We did diphthongs already. We did two diphthongs. Well, one. We did the EA. So we're looking at vowels. Now we did A, we did E. Now we're going to do I normally always start with the, normally, with the long sound. So we're going to look at the long I, the long I. So let me share. And there we are. There's the long I sound. And notice once again, I always want you to notice the phonetic alphabet, because even though the way the letter is written and and uh, and shown, what's consistent is the phonetic alphabet, and that tells you that no matter how it's written, the pronunciation is still I, and it's a lowercase a and an uppercase I. So let's look at it. And some of these words are very common words in the English language, like pile. Like I have my dreadlocks piled on top of my head. I always pile my dreadlocks on top of my head because sometimes when it's down, I sit on them and gets on your nerves after a while. So I pile them on top of my head. But pile can also be a verb. That there it is, a verb, right? To pile on top of your head. Can also be a noun. There's a pile of clothes on the floor. That means there's a bunch of clothes just thrown on the floor anyhow. So it can be a verb as well as a noun, or can be a noun as well as a verb. Bile. That's something that just excrete from the liver, if I'm correct, from the liver, right? Side, side. Now, side is a word that has a number of meanings. It can be a verb. Yeah, it can be a verb. Yeah, it can be. I was just thinking about it. Yes, it can be. Okay, I'll side with you. He always sides with me. That is, when there's an argument or there's a problem, he takes my part of the story. He takes my side of the story, right? And side can also be a noun. To take someone's side means to believe what that person is saying. If I side with you, that's a verb. That means I believe you versus someone else, versus the person who's arguing against you. And if you take my side, or the side that you are taking is incorrect, that means you are putting your beliefs in me. You're saying that you believe me versus someone else. I can't find a verb, a very good verb. That's why I'm hesitating. But side can also be a part of your body, your side, the side of your body, this part right here. You can't see it, but you can't see it at all. But the side, you have two sides. You have one side over here and one side over here, the side of your body. Okay. And it means other things too, but those are the two most important. Wide. The opposite of wide is narrow. So if you go down a wide street, it's a street that will have a number of lanes. So more than one or two lanes of traffic can go. But a narrow street is a street that you have trouble maneuvering because it's very, it's like this, it's very thin, versus wide is like that. Show you with my hands, there you go. What do they say? A picture is worth 1,000 words. Life, that's one of those F words. Not F in that sense, but F words, that is, if you want to make it plural, like you say, this is my life, or that's life. A lot of times people say that's life, or they'll say the French, and the French expression is very common, c'est la vie, that's life, vie being life. But if you want to pluralize it, and I have one life, but a cat has 9 lives. That's an expression, that a cat has 9 lives. You remove the F and the E, and in its place, well, what you would do, remove is the F. You remove the F, you don't have to remove the E. You remove the F, in its place you put a V, and then you add an S, lives, Lives, lives. Slide, to slide, to go down, like if you slide down the mountain, you fall but slowly down the mountain. Because of mud, you slide, you slip and slide. Tide, that's what the ocean has a high tide and a low tide. Tide with a capital, with an uppercase T, also is very popular, at least in the United States, because it's the name of a detergent. Dine, very fancy English, to dine instead of to eat dinner. But there's a difference, I think. To eat dinner means you are normally at home and you're being served dinner at your dinner table at home. But to dine, it can mean one or two things. It can either mean that you're going out to a very elegant, fancy restaurant and you're going to dine rather than just eat dinner, because the environment is part of the dinner. Or you're going to have dinner in your home, but special. You're going to have, maybe a lot of times it's romantic. You're going to have candles and, if you have it, a chandelier and nice tablecloth. And it's going to be a special occasion. You and your friend, your significant other, or someone who may become your significant other, you are going to dine tonight at home. Prize, prize. To win something, the big prize, the jackpot. That's what well, in another tape we were talking about the Grand Prix. Prix is Prix, which is prize in French. White, just like black, because we live, well, United States is a very racial, a country that talks about race a lot. White has many, many different meanings. There's the actual color white, but white seems metaphorically as well as symbolically, a lot of different meanings. Some meanings are positive, which may be innocence, and other meanings are negative. For example, like if you call somebody white bread, that has nothing to do with their race. It's just that they're very boring. Right? And even innocence can be a negative. If you're a child or maybe a teenager, maybe if you're in your early 20s, maybe innocence is endearing and nice. But when you get much older and you still show a certain type of innocence, that's considered being very naive, being very gullible. You haven't grown up, very immature. And all that a lot of times is represented by the color white. And white is represented in the wedding. A bride marries in white. It used to be if you weren't a virgin, you couldn't marry in white, but that's centuries ago. Dime, it's a coin. You have the nickel, the dime, no, you have the penny, the nickel, the dime, the quarter. You used to have a half a dollar, but not anymore. Time, lots of different meanings, both literally as well as metaphorically. The time passes no matter what. No matter what's happening, time passes. There's a lot of idiomatic expressions with the word time in English, a lot. You can imagine, because that's something that you can't buy. You can't buy time. Can't buy love and can't buy time. Die. Die means to no longer live. So if someone dies, because I put that's he, she, it, someone dies, that means they no longer are alive. A lot of expressions. Price. What is the price? How much do I have to pay for something? The price. Wise, the wise. That's represented by the owl. Someone, it's not necessarily that you're smart, but you have lived your life and you have learned from life. And as a result, you see things and you're able to determine things because of your wisdom. Wisdom is connected to be wise. A wise person has a lot of wisdom. Size, big, small, medium, and not just clothing, in many things. Pipe. Pipe is what goes through, what the water goes through. Pipa. Pipe. Okay. Ripe. You can now eat it. If it's ripe, it's mature. You know, the fruit is now ready to eat. Mike, name, a nickname for Michael. Wife, and a wife has, well, a wife can have another wife, or a wife has a husband. Oh, once again, that's an F word. In plural, you place the F with the V, and then it's wives, if you have more than one wife. Crime. What can I say about crime? It's a Latin-based word, that's one thing, and it's something that one never wants to experience, crime. And normally, if you commit a crime, you go to jail. Pie, what you eat for dessert. Apple pie. What is it? She's as American as apple pie. To swipe, you swipe your card to get into the what do you call it? To get into the train, into the subway, right? Or you swipe your card in order to get money. You swipe, you go your card. File, well, there's files. Used to be in a filing cabinet, but you have files on your computer. To rise, to get up. That's one thing about being a Christian. You believe that Christ will rise again, the second coming. Oh, and it's a very irregular verb. The past tense of rise is not rise, it's rose. And that's what a cake does. it rises when it's in the oven to bake. To lie. Lie has a number of meanings. One is not to tell the truth, and the other is to lie down on the bed. Now the difference is they both in the simple form in the present tense is lie, but in the past tense, when you're talking about not telling the truth, that has one form in the past tense, and we'll talk about verbs in the past and present tense, especially irregular verbs, which is lied. You lied. Just add a D. But if you're talking about lie as what you do on the bed, you lie on the bed, that past tense is different. It's lay. But let me tell you a lot. I don't know about the British, but a lot of Americans get that incorrect. They incorrectly, they say the word, they use the incorrect form. Mine. Once again, this has two distinct meanings. One is, this is mine. It belongs to me. Right? A lot of Americans say mines because you say yours and you say hers and you say ours. So they'll say mines. There is no S. It's just mine. Okay. Then there's the mine in the ground that you dig up and you go inside like a gold mine or a silver mine. Now there, if it's plural, you can say mines. There are a lot of mines in Peru, for example. Wine, what you drink. Lime, it's a green fruit like the lemon. Light, this is not correct. Well, it's become correct English now. It has become correct. At one time, this was an informal way of writing the word light, L-I-G-H-T. It doesn't mean the same thing, though. You'll see this on boxes, like cereal boxes or yoga cups. It means that it doesn't have a lot of calories. It's light. It doesn't have a lot of calories. You don't use it when you're talking about light, the thing that you use in order to be able to see. No, you don't. And it probably now is considered correct English, but it's used in a very particular way. Cite. When you cite something, somebody, I'll give you a quote, so I'm citing. I'm telling you who said that quote. Bite. That's what they say a dog, what is it? A dog that barks doesn't bite. That's not true. A dog that barks, he also bites. Bite is something that you do, you bite with your mouth. Babies like to bite when they're like 1 or 2 years old, and they hurt, especially their little teeth going in, it hurts. Bike, which you ride instead of not instead of a car. Sometimes you do it for enjoyment, but other times people do it in order to get from one place to the other. Bike, which is the short way of saying bicycle. Lie. I'm not gonna go over every word. If I go over every word, type, time. That's completely, that TH does not have the sound. Okay, and now you notice I'm using the Y instead of the, I did that, I didn't realize. Here, I'm using the Y instead of the I. And also, I want you to notice that all these words end in E. You remember that I told you before, if the word ends in E, interrupted by I'm going backwards, interrupted by a consonant, and then you have a vowel, That vowel that you have is the long side of that vowel. So now you're seeing, I'm going to go back. So now you're seeing the I, the actual I, the I sound. Now go forward. Go here, over here. Now you're seeing the Y. So even though the letter has changed, because of the structure, the E, going backwards, the E, then the consonant, then another vowel. Well, now the vowel Y is taking the same sound as the long I. The Y mimics a lot of different, a lot of different vowels, mostly the I, the short I or the long I. In Spanish, it's called Y, which means the Y, which means the Greek I, the Y. Time, tyke, he's a little tyke. Hype, to exaggerate something. Bye, see you later, bye. Dye, what you do to your hair. If you choose to change its color. Rhyme, without rhyme or reason. Stymie, to mess someone up or to become an obstacle. Ride, a name. Psych, I, look at that. Look at that. If you were to see that and you didn't know this rule and you didn't understand that their Y becomes a, and both E's in this case are silent. And the only thing that's pronounced is the Y, I. Oh, that's this I, by the way, not I, not the person I. Pile, name, Gomer Pyle. That used to be a very popular TV show. Tyler, Mary Tyler Moore, once again, a name. Hyena, animal. Hyper, Y, and back to pile. So we're talking about the long I sound. The long I sound can be represented by the I itself, and it can be represented by the Y. But don't be careful, be very careful, because that Y can fool you. If you notice, for example, if the name of my company is Welcome, and I'm using the Y, okay, welcome. And also the Y can represent the E. You have to be careful with the Y. That's why I have a whole set of language cards dealing with different pronunciations of the I. So once again, this is Corral and Fickler McLean, welcome.com. I appreciate you coming to my site. Please subscribe so I can get as many subscriptions as possible. I would love to get 1 million. I don't know if that's possible or not, but why not? I know if I don't do anything, I won't get it. So might as well try. And tell your friends, tell everybody who's interested in learning the language, and whether you're a native speaker or not, because this helps a lot of native speakers to understand their own language. Right? Just because you speak a language doesn't mean you understand it. You know, people will say, well, why do you say it like that? Oh, it sounds right. No, that's not why. You say that because you don't know. Okay. So I appreciate you coming. I'm going to stop sharing. And I'm going to say goodbye. You have a good day now. Bye-bye.